Hey guys, this is Aaron and Chris here for Nickel House Games. Currently we're just playing Call of Duty Black Ops on the PC. These are just pretty much our thoughts and reviews of what we've been encountering. So I'll let you open it up then.
Awesome. Alright, here we go, guys. So we got the big old title screen. A big thing going on with the new Black Ops here is something called Specialists. That's a big thing that's kind of come in here. We've been playing around with a couple of these things here. I've been playing around a lot with the Tempest, which each specialist has two different call signs, as they're calling it. Or I guess the call sign is the Prophet, and then they have something called Tempest and Glitch.
Yeah.
So
You've been rocking the Tempest a
I've
little
been
bit.
rocking the Tempest right now, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sold on it. I started off playing, if you want to just pop over one more, I was playing the Outrider, and I was using the Sparrow. The Sparrow was actually really nice. I loved it. You could fire off a bunch of shots. The Tempest pretty much seems the same. It just has a kind of bit of a wider range of shot. We'll play the Tempest, and we'll jump into a match, I guess.
So we'll take a look here. So they pretty much released out the core ideas, as you can see.
Yeah.
You've got all of your normal stuff. We're just going to play some team deathmatch just to kind of get you into the flow of things, let you see what's going on.
Yeah.
So we'll jump in. The weapons seem to be fairly standard as far as things go. Not much has changed in that front, I mean, other than the names. I've been using pretty much your standard assault rifle setup here.
Yeah, the HK-30. It's been pretty nice. I started off using the AK for a while and used the SMG. I just found that I didn't do enough damage with the SMG. I can sacrifice a bit of the mobility. For the beta, they released 3 maps, I believe. Out of all of them, this is my second favorite. The snow one is probably the hardest for me to kind of actually play through. We'll probably pop to it. We'll see if we get to it. I like this one. Game still is mobile. Kind of like Advanced Warfare. They took out the boost sideways, boost right, boost any direction really, in favor of a jetpack. The jetpack's really nice. It feels slower, however, and I'm not a huge fan of the fact that it is kind of a bit of a step back. I don't know. How do you feel about the?
Feeling kind of annoyed by the jetpacks myself personally, just because it opened up the whole.
A lot of areas to fall in.
Yeah, it kind of just a lot of the times, I wouldn't say forces you to use the jetpack, but it caters very heavily to it. A lot of the levels are like, oh hey look, this giant window that wants me to jump into it, because that's the obvious trap, right? So I'm not a huge fan of the jetpack idea. It's there. It keeps the movement of the game going, which is really nice. You still have your power slide, and you have a little bit of a bar that gives you how much fuel you have in the jetpack, which regenerates quite quickly as well. They've kind of adapted some of the ideas from different games that are going on as well, like Titanfall's idea of running on walls and bouncing on walls, like that. So you can do all that in this game, which is not a bad thing. It keeps things moving very quickly, that kind of thing. So I like the speed, I like the tempo of the game. Things feel very polished. The mechanics have always been good with Call of Duty, so we're not missing anything there.
Yeah, I guess that's one thing that we should add. As an addition for the mobility, they did add the wall running, which I'll quickly just give you a quick show.
Preview here, so you can.
Which it's nice. You can move, you can run, you can aim and shoot while running. But again, it just doesn't feel quite as right as I think Advanced Warfare did nail. Granted, there's still a beta; they can clean it up. But I guess we'll just have to see.
Early signs are looking pretty good, however, for the movement and everything like that. However, what I'm starting to feel like is it feels like another Call of Duty game to me. I can't put it any other way than that. It's very generic, is my way of putting it.
Yeah, I'm kind of bored with the setting, the ultra-realistic future warfare. I'd almost be willing to drop back to maybe a bit slower. I get that they keep upping the ante every year. There might be something to be said to maybe take a year off, have longer support on one game, because that's one thing that I did dislike is I find a lot of player drop off after the next one comes out, and it kind of puts you off a little bit from actually, even if you really like Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 4, there's always going to be that core group playing, but it's going to be smaller and more limited than keeping up to date and playing each of the new ones. One thing I did like is the pistols in this one actually feel much better to me. I like the feel of pistols. I like that I can still kill things with it. For a while there, they felt really useless and just kind of... I'd usually just take them completely out of my classes just to save up that slot from the pick 10 system.
There are no words for what I
Didn't get a
just
chance
saw.
to use the Tempest there, but we'll try and get you guys another look at it.
Yeah. So we'll quickly run through when we get back into the menu. We'll show some of the creative class stuff. It's alright. It's pretty much the exact same as Black Ops 2.
Yeah.
I was pretty sold on how Advanced Warfare worked. It was very much do certain things, win 3 matches in a row, you get a crate, a supply drop. And once you open up that supply drop, you could get customization, armor, helmets, gloves, pants, whatever for your character. And you kind of got to personalize your character, which I really liked. And you could also pick up variations of weapons. So you could hope that you might get a version of a weapon that you really like that maybe has a higher clip size to start, but more recoil. There was always plus and minuses, and I liked that that was an addition to it. We'll see if they add that into this one. If they do, I'd be really, really happy.
So here's kind of a look at, sorry, I'll jump in here.
Yeah.
There's kind of a look at your perk system and everything. You've got the normal 10 for 10. I'm going to back us out of the lobby just so that we have a chance to kind of
Look through
here. So you have your standard. I have 10 pieces I can use in my loadout. That seems to be a very used thing now for Call of Duty. So nothing's changed there. Again, going back to the genericness of these Call of Duty games, not much has changed in that front. You level up your weapons, which levels up or unlocks your optics and your attachments, and that all comes with each level that you progress, which is nice because, I mean, if you like a certain weapon,
The more you use it,
you'll
the better
continue
stuff
to
you
use
get
it.
for it,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Exactly, but it also takes away from the idea of using anything else, because, I mean, I found a weapon that I like to use right off the get-go, and that seems to be all I'm using right now. So I'm not getting a lot of draw to change up and do different things. The perk system, what I'm finding is, I'm going to kind of confirm this here, maybe I might be right or wrong, but the specialists may or may not have their own, and I will go back in here. I'm just going to say that is a,
No, it's all the same.
that's all the same. So the perks seem to be a little cleaner though, however. A lot of them making more sense, and I haven't seen any kind of the pro. There's no use them and unlock more, that kind of thing like that. So they all seem to do just what they say they do, and again, with the unlock system, you just kind of unlock it with a token, boom, you have it done. There's no level, you don't unlock it at a certain level or prestige class, that kind of thing like that. So, very generic in that sense. We'll try
Let me try this for a second.
Yeah.
I was just going to mention one thing that they did end up changing up, which, take it or leave it, they ended up changing the melee combat in this. Usually it's always been you knife someone, it's a one-hit kill. Now it's a two-hit kill, but you have a combat knife. So I'm going to try it out. We haven't tried it out yet, so how that's going to work, if I have to switch to it to use it, or if it just works as when I melee, if it is a one-hit kill. We'll jump in another game, see how it goes, go from there. I am a fan of the not one-hit melee kill. Sometimes it does feel cheap, and it kind of just sucks. You get a beat on a guy, like load out, drop 5 rounds in the guy. He hits you with the knife and you're dead.
Alright, let me see if I can do something with
Be
this knife.
advised, hostile UAV
Chances
incoming.
are probably not. I've never been a fan of knives, but hey, why not? We'll give it a shot. The doesn't really. If you know what you're doing with the jetpack and stuff, I could see this working out pretty well for a lot of people. Let's see. There we go. So we got one. So yeah, there's your one-hit kills, that kind of thing like that. But again, the standard combat, and I'll try and switch it up here, and I'll see if I can do something with this here. Is a 2-hit, and it's just with the
it's just a rifle butt.
It's just a rifle strike. So it kind of changes it up, makes it not quite so easy to get those panic kills when somebody runs in front of you, you know, and everybody's swinging away. So that is a plus. I mean, it forces you to put a knife in your loadout, and that kind of keeps things away from those easy kills. Haven't seen a lot of camping so far, unless other than the people who hide in a corner and kind of wait for people to wrap the corner. But not a lot of sniping, that kind of thing like that. I haven't seen a ton of that. And I feel like kind of the jetpacks are a good part of that. Just because it's pretty much hard to hit somebody
who's flying away,
who's flying away and or is landing right on top of you with the jetpack. So take that as a plus or a minus. I've never been a big fan of sniping classes and that kind of thing like that, so it works for me anyway. One thing I was going to mention there, Aaron's tossing some grenades around and stuff. I find an absolute minus for grenades. The grenades feel weak, damage-wise. The toss feels childish at best. You throw it and it feels like it goes like 5 feet in front of you. So it's very. I don't like it at all. Actually, I think it's poor design right there. And then you get into your concussion and flashbang grenades, which seem to just
be overpowered.
Absolutely stop you in your tracks. You get hit with a flashbang, and you're not only blinded, like in the previous games used to, you'd obviously get blinded, but you could move around and you could shoot, and this is our bow, by the way, for the Sparrow. This is the Rider. Now, all of these weapons are one-hit kills. Yeah, in this game you get concussed or flashbang, and your movement is right slowed. You're stuck in a spot.
Yeah, here, throw one at yourself.
I'll see if I can. Yeah, I can see if I can just stun myself.
Once you get hit, you can't turn quickly. You can't move quickly.
That's the concussion grenade. So that's your pretty much standard concussion, but it's you're stopped.
Yeah, and your flashbang is even worse. It does the exact same, but you're blinded at the same time.
Yeah.
It makes it much harder to play. I feel like the difference between a regular grenade and a flashbang, flashbang 100% of the way. The damage isn't there for the regular grenade. Throwing it, the arcs are too short for me. But the concussed, the flashbang, if you hit someone, push through, you're gonna drop them. They can't move. They're locked, looking in a certain position. So unless they're looking directly at you to start with, you're fine.
And you can toss them much farther than a regular grenade.
Yeah. So this is the second level. This is probably my least favorite of the 3 that they released with the beta. There's a lot of ups and downs, but there's too much distance between certain areas. I like more of the closer combat. There's one more that has a waterfall. It'll show there's swimming now in this, which is kind of nice.
It's a nice addition.
It's a nice addition. There's a couple areas where you can actually swim. You can still shoot underwater. It feels nice. It's just a small, nice addition they added into it.
So I can change up some weapons here. And there's not a lot of difference that I'm finding. It seems to be
small variations.
Yeah.
Which that's always how it usually is. They kind of just do the small variations just to cater to the entire group.
I need to find an actual weapon here.
Try the shotgun.
Try the shotgun out. The shotgun's feeling pretty good so far, from what I've used anyway and played with. See, and then all of a sudden they block you out. All of a sudden you've got
threat
neutralized. Good medium range distance on the shotguns. So they didn't put a lot of time into giving you multiple shotguns and stuff like that. I don't think there's that many in the beta here. So
Yeah, there's only a few. They're really limiting like 2-3 guns available, I believe, for each weapon class: assault rifles, SMGs, maybe machine guns. And to be fair, it is a beta. This game is coming out in a few months, so not everything's ready to do
UAV inbound.
vertical slice of the game to give out to everybody. That's for the most part. That's mostly what I wanted to talk about this game. One of the big things that I have to say about it is the release date. We just looked over. It comes out November 6th, I believe, which is fine. But for me, I've played so many of the Call of Duties, I'm kind of getting a little bit fatigued on everything. And 4 days later, Fallout 4 is coming out. Rise of the Tomb Raider comes out.
yeah.
10 or 11 days later,
You've got Star Wars Battlefront. that's coming
Battlefront,
out.
which, to be fair, for my shooter, that's probably what I'm going to be playing anyways. So I think my time is, for the most part, already set with Call of Duty just kind of being left on the back burner. I love Call of Duty. I'm not smart enough to be working with the crews that decide when games should be released to make the most amount of money. But for me,
Ain't no place they could
everything
hide
else
from
that's
me.
coming out, it's different, it's fun. I only have so much time in a day to actually set aside to play something. So Call of Duty is going to end up being on the back burner for me. I might end up just pushing it and picking it up in the new year, but I guess we'll have to see at that point.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
It's going to take a back burner for me as well, I think. Just with the generic feel of it, it just feels like another
Call of Duty.
It's just another yearly Call of Duty. There's nothing special to it. You might as well chalk it up with the sports games.
Some people love it. Some people need the updates. But for me, I'm happy to get my small amount of fix and just jump back to.
Just give me another map pack. It's feeling good, but I mean, again, like Aaron said there, with the amount of things that are coming out in November, I have a feeling that
for me,
it's going to be one of those things that I buy much later on in time, I'm thinking.
Yeah,
so
during the drought of the early spring, but it sounds like a lot of games are getting pushed to then anyway, so I guess we'll have to see.
We'll see.
I guess
all
this
right,
wraps it
guys.
up.
Well, that should wrap things up for us. I'm Chris. This is Aaron, of course, with Nickel House Gaming. You've been treated to Black Ops 3 here, and we'll catch you guys later.
Okay, bye.